Everybody, good morning. It is Saturday morning and doing good today. I'm so happy. No more raw challenge. Anyway, didn't have a headache after the sugar-free yogurt last night. You know, no added sugar. That was really good. So that's a good point. That's a good thing. But anyway, so what are some things that I learned from doing the raw portion of the challenge? One of the top things that I learned is that I do not want to do a raw food diet. So big kudos to the people who can do it fully. I think that's fabulous, but I don't think I'm ever going to be that person. I really don't. That's how I feel at this point in my life anyway, that I'm never really going to be a raw foodist 100% because I just don't like to do that. I do like mono meals sometimes, which means once in a while, I do just want to have watermelon, and that's okay, right? I do just want to have like one thing, and that's all right. Another thing I learned is that I was a little bummed out about the way that when I first went out into the raw challenge, I said, I'm doing this, because I want to help pull back on the sugars, which was a great thing. I wanted to replace it with fruit sugars, which worked out very well, but I also wanted to up my salads. And I started out that way, and then I started pulling back. And one of the reasons why I pulled back was because during the course of the month, I had a crown replaced, so I was working on a temporary crown, and I was afraid that if I ate a whole bunch of salads, it was just crunching and crunching and crunching, that I was going to knock that out, and it scared me to death because I didn't want to have to put it back on and have them put it back on. And then I got a new crown, which I just got a few days ago, and it's still very sore and very hard to chew on. So that's one of the biggest reasons why I just chose to have like watermelon, which doesn't take a lot of crunching, because I was really afraid that I would knock that out. And so I didn't end up having a lot of the salads that I hoped, that this raw challenge portion would push me into. So that was a little bit of a bummer, but I'm not going to open it up again and go back just so I can have those salads. So maybe I'll work some more into later this month when this stops being so sore. But anyway, big reason why. What else did I really learn? I started paying attention to the different types of raw meals and stuff like that, and I still agree that I don't think that a heavy amount of nuts is the best thing. I do think, and I did rely on having those 2 tablespoons of flax seeds every day, which I did, and that helped me tremendously to keep the hunger down. I started working in almond butter into my diet, but I wouldn't go over like 1 tablespoon very often. Sometimes I would do 2 tablespoons, sometimes 1.5, but I really kept it at that when I used it per day, and I didn't rely on that all the time because I know that you could really put on weight doing that. And when I'm not doing a raw type challenge, I sometimes will go weeks and weeks before I even touch my nut butter jars, right? And they just sit there in the fridge. So I did find that I had to rely on those more. But anyway, and for the protein and for the fats, right? Because I was cutting back on fats. So the fat was really important to work into the raw portion of the diet when I was having it. And the Flackers crackers, those actually work very well as to bringing in some healthy fats into the diet and for staving off my hunger. That really helped a lot too. So I would use that, maybe later in the day sometimes. But I'm really glad that I can move on now because I don't really have to do that. I can use other things, but I'll still bring the flax meal and I'll still use those things, but probably more sparingly than I had when I was doing raw. So anyway, let me let you go for now. Glad to be moving on to the next portion here, and I will see you in a little bit. All right, so for part of my breakfast this morning, I'm going to have some pinto beans, and these beans here are Eden beans, and Eden canned beans are really good they cook all of their beans in a pressure cooker, which are supposed to be easier to digest. So I use those ones. And then over here, I've got some frozen blueberries that I've had in the freezer for a while, and I'm just going to cook these down because I'm going to have a sweet potato for breakfast besides my beans, and I want something sweet on top of it, but I don't want to add any sugar, and I'm like, how can I do this without adding fake sweetener this morning? And so I have some diabetic cookbooks, excuse me. My dad has diabetes, and sometimes I would make some baked goods for him, but and they usually use like 100% apple juice to sweeten up their things. So I put like a 1/4 cup of the concentrate in here, and I'm going to cook these down, and that's going to be like a topping that I use on some things this week. We're outside helping Dad.
Yes.
Get ready, get all the junk in the truck so you can take it to the dump, right?
Yes.
Okay.
Did you have a bale?
Did I have a bear?
A bale for the ducks.
A bell for the ducks? I'm sorry. All right. What is he saying? What are you saying?
A bell for the dump.
A bill for the dump. Oh, yes, yes, I do. Thanks for reminding me. I'll go find it. All right. Did you help too, Tim?
Yep. I love this day
This is
too.
my breakfast this morning. There's my potato with the blueberry compote on top, and then also my beans. I've got about, I want to say it's about a 1/2 cup in there. This is a tiny teacup. And then just a smattering of avo on there for some good fats. And I know there's a bit of starch here, but oh my goodness, I am celebrating this morning being able to have cooked veggies instead of raw. Dropped by the rental, and I keep some snacks in here at this place for the kids in case they get hungry, and we're over here watering plants. So I remembered that I had some celery and carrots sticks, and I left some hummus in here too. So I don't think they've added any sugar, and I can have cooked food now, so I don't see any sugar. So I'm gonna have some hummus and veggies right now. Morning, everybody. It is Sunday morning. It is Father's Day, so happy Father's Day to all the dads out there, from everybody here on Cat on Point. So I did not show the dinner that I had yesterday. It was spaghetti and meatballs. I ended up at the end of the day with like 2 points, and so not a big deal. But I did a lot of thinking yesterday, because heavy duty thinking too, because now the second part of my challenge, I was done with the raw portion of it, and I was going to go on to do the one meal of the day have meat protein, and then all the rest of the day fruits, vegetables, nuts, and seeds only I could have cooked, right? And then I started the day with starch, and I realized the way that it made my blood sugar feel, and dang it, it's just, I have to take blood work in about a week or so. And they constantly really monitor that a lot, because I have genetically high cholesterol, and it could mean a lot of different types of complications for me. And so one thing I know is when I go high starch, it drives up my cholesterol and my triglycerides, and I have to keep that under wraps. And if I do that for the next 2 weeks, I may be looking at, them trying to put me on statins again. I don't want that. And I think it causes a few different complications for me. So you say, well, don't do starch, then do the raw again, right? Or do salads or something. Well, I already mentioned that with my tooth being the way that it is, it's been really hard to do a lot of the raw and a lot of the salads. So that's going to be a problem, which means it's going to push me back into starches and stuff. And I do want to back off on some of the fruit, and I'm still going to keep no sugar for the rest of the month. I'm still going to keep that portion of my challenge. But what I've decided is to put away the rest of that other challenge for now and not continue that. I want to participate in a challenge from another channel, Weight Watchers with Carrie. I think that's the name of it. Carrie, I think I always get it wrong. I'm going to check and I'm going to put it on the screen and I'll put it down below too. So she's wonderful. She and her husband are great Weight Watcher role models, and I love watching them. But anyway, she has a challenge. I'm going to participate in it. I'm still doing my no sugar thing, but I think that participating in that challenge would be too difficult if I were doing the other stuff that I was doing also. So that's one of the reasons also. And it seems like it's going to be a pretty tough one, but it's only for a week, so stay tuned. And then Monday I will let you know how that goes, and what we're looking at. So anyway, that's what we're looking at. So this morning, I am back to now besides the no sugar thing, I'm back to my smart points. And for today, it is, what am I at, 23 smart points? And that's it. So I'm probably going to have an egg for breakfast, which is like, hey, I haven't had that for a while, right? Something like that. We'll see. Since it's Father's Day, my husband wants to go to pizza, and I've already had, I've checked out that pizza place, and it is going to be, I can have 2 slices for a lot of points, but I can have 2 slices there. So that's what I'm having, and water. I never drink soda. So anyway, yeah, that's what we're doing. You're up to speed. I love you guys. Thanks for hanging in there with me, and I will see you later today. Bye.